They used to be the most awesome and the most feared out there. They were masters of survival. But where are they now? Have they disappeared? Vanished? If not, where are they? Here is the mystery. We are told they were the greatest warriors in history, yet in the blink of an eye, they were gone. But what if I told you that is a lie? What if I told you that the Vikings didn't die? They just pulled off the greatest disappearing act in human history. To understand the trick, we have to look at the setup. 793 AD, Lindisfarne. The monks see sails. They think it's trade. They were wrong. You see, Viking wasn't a race. It was a job description, a verb. To go a Viking meant to pirate. Driven by a hunger for silver and a lack of farmland at home, they poured out of the fjords. Therefore, they needed an edge, the Longship. This was the stealth bomber of the Dark Ages, shallow enough to float in 3 feet of river water, strong enough to cross the Atlantic. Therefore, no one was safe. Not Paris, not Baghdad, not even North America 500 years before Columbus. Legends like Ragnar Lothbrok and his sons, Ivar the Boneless, Bjorn Ironside, they didn't just raid. They commanded a great heathen army. They conquered half of England. They laid siege to Paris. They took what they wanted. They were unstoppable. But even the greatest fire eventually runs out of wood. We usually think enemies defeated the Vikings. We think of King Alfred the Great building fortresses to block them. But that's not what killed the Viking Age. The real killer was success. As they got rich, they wanted land. Therefore, they settled. And when you settle, you become a target. You see, back home in Scandinavia, chieftains became kings. They wanted control. They wanted taxes. Therefore, the chaotic freedom of the Viking raider became a threat to the Viking kings. And then the ultimate plot twist, Christianity. The very religion they raided converted them. The kings of Europe realized they couldn't beat the Vikings with steel, so they beat them with paper and faith. A Christian king doesn't raid his neighbors, he trades with them. The official end came in 1066. King Harald Hardrada, the last hard ruler, invaded England. He took an arrow to the throat at Stamford Bridge. Historians tell us that was it. The Vikings are dead. But that's the boring version, and it's wrong. Remember I asked where they went? Look in the mirror. They didn't vanish. They assimilated. They dissolved into us. Take Rollo, a Viking raider. The French king couldn't stop him, so he gave him land. That land became Normandy, land of the Northmen. Rollo's great-great-grandson was William the Conqueror. Therefore, the French who conquered England in 1066 were actually Vikings in disguise. They are in your mouth right now. Speak English? Window, egg, sky, knife, anger. Those are Norse words. Every time you say Thursday, you are invoking Thor. They are in your blood. Genetic studies show that in parts of the UK and Russia, Viking DNA is everywhere. They ceased to be Vikings, pirates, and became the architects of modern Europe. So they didn't disappear. They evolved. They traded the axe for the gavel, the longship for the merchant vessel. The Viking spirit, that refusal to accept boundaries, that need to see what is over the horizon, it didn't die. It just changed clothes. And it's been waiting for you to notice.